Hello everyone, Lumen River is with you. I will be very glad of your likes and comments. Enjoy watching.
So, a total harem. The anime begins with an introduction to the main character named Reita Mizuhara. He is a medical student and has recently been diagnosed with a rare disease, namely multiple sclerosis. To save his life, the boy decides to freeze his body, as scientists are about to invent a cure for this disease. But before that, he decides to confess his love to his girlfriend named Elisa. At first she does not give a clear answer, but then she declares that she will wait for him. At this point, our kid falls asleep and wakes up already in the 2040th year, 5 years after freezing. He is met by a beautiful girl named Mira and introduces herself as his servant. The guy does not understand anything and obediently follows all the instructions from a stranger, but he quickly realizes that something is wrong with the world. It turns out that while the man was sleeping, an unknown virus raged in the world. It affected only men, from which they quickly died. Since humanity was not ready for such a development, it was decided to freeze all living men until the ladies come up with medicines. But now 5 years have passed, and the medicine is clearly not particularly looming on the horizon. But they found several men who are immune to the virus, among them was Reita. In general, now the kid has to restore the human race, since children born during artificial insemination are also vulnerable to the virus. Newborn girls survive, but boys are a problem. Reita is in shock, his brother is frozen, his girlfriend is missing, and he is one of the few living men on Earth. Well, at least my sister is alive and that's okay. Then a series of molestation of the kid begins. Then they want to bring him hundreds of selected girls for pregnancy, then he is seduced by the maid of the world. And I can't show you all this, because there is no breast censorship to listen to. Let's agree with you like this, you watch this video and train your imagination. So, the kid is powerfully inclined to the side of animal instincts, but our hero is not like that. He loves Alice and wants to conceive a child with her. Moreover, he argues his seemingly selfish act very intelligently. As a healthy young man, he can fertilize at best several hundred girls. This is, of course, a steep indicator, but to restore the human population, this will obviously not be enough. On the other hand, there are still guys there. If everyone throws in a couple hundred kids, maybe something will turn out. But let's leave this question to any biologists, geneticists. We're watching anime here, they're playing science. Then he introduces us to the first kid who was woken up when he was found to be immune to the virus. His name is Kazuya Hina and he takes full advantage of his position. He literally sees everything. I can't count how many girls have passed through his bed. He certainly has favorites. And a personal maid, like Wraith. She is just engaged in the selection of girls for her master. So I say it all out loud and I can feel the approach of punishment from YouTube, but while we live, we live. He demonstrates to us how Kyoji easily gets an actress whom he saw on TV in the morning, and in the evening she was already in his bed. In general, the kid has fun as much as his imagination allows, but our Raid is given a personal guard and a doctor. The doctor immediately makes her way into the soul of the boy and powerfully to him. Well, guys, such an anime. It came out in 2021, and you also complained about the magician healer. In general, the guards turns out to be Lolka, and the doctor. Well, doctor. The kid is attacked, but Lolka protects him, and in order to gain more influence, Reita goes on television and tells the whole world that he is a living man and he will find a cure for the virus. Then our kid finds Elisa's bracelet, on which a message is written for him. The girl suspects that the virus was created and applied by man. The plot is kind of spinning, but you wait, soon I'll have to censor so much that it's easier to leave the black screen, you'll fantasize the events there yourself. In short, she introduces the third kid. In ordinary life, before the virus, he was a total loser. He was disgusted, if not by the whole school, then most of it. And it would be for that, he's just, well, skinny and loves idols. That's what, since when has the love of Kaidalam been off the scale in Asian countries, especially in Japan? Well, okay. In short, there was a gang of guys who especially bullied Sita. He has a name, of course. According to anime laws, you should be bullied if you have Seth's name. In general, it was not sweet for the guy. But there was one person who treated the kid well, namely a music teacher named Yuzuha, but she could not somehow protect the boy, and as if the kid's life was already shitty, he also had multiple sclerosis. But there is nothing to do, we have to go into suspended animation. Although, apparently, it's better than being bullied at school. 5 years later, our kid, of course, wakes up, and he is met by a maid named Karen. Remember her, she is important for the plot. Everyone goes to school again, but there are only girls in it and for some reason everyone looks at him intently, and even blush at any successful occasion. The first lesson went like fine, but the kid is modest, he didn't even talk to anyone. Then Karen took him to Yuzuha, she is very happy to see him and immediately calls the kid to come to her room in the evening. All this survives this day, and in the evening they come to the teacher. She did not pull the cat by the balls and immediately sucked the kid, and then they indulged in flat pleasures. That's how I describe it, as if it's a novel for girls, but not because I'm so intelligent, but because I do not know what YouTube is to bask in, she is not. So put up with Victorian slang. So, the kid is no longer a virgin, but she still endured, because it is impossible to turn into a wolf in one day. The next day he spoke to someone for the first time, it was a girl from a very rich family. However, she could not ignite passion in the boy, but another girl found common ground with him. They both like idols, you see. Then he will get acquainted with a sporty girl and with the local ingenious logic, where without it. In general, girls for every taste and everything, especially for sets. Over time, our kid became bolder and was already calmly engaged in Yuzuha. And he did it so actively that the teacher quickly became pregnant. Well, apparently, I didn't understand exactly. You want too much from me, I'm retelling the anime plot to you, which is more like hentai. In short, there is a new rule at school, now there will still be one girl living every week. The first one becomes a nation, but this one is from a rich family. It turns out that she does not know how to undress herself, you see, her maid always did it. It's under this pretext that our kid flirts with her body. Stupid, stupid, but that's what you need, you dirty perverts. I know you better than you do. In general, on the second day, the girl opens the set, and they are engaged, slowly turns into an alpha. However, he becomes ashamed in front of Yuzuha to sleep with another girl. He tries to apologize to her, but Karen says that everything is fine, the boy can sleep with anyone with a virgin, they won't mind. And as proof, Karen orders all the students in the class to undress. Damn, it's because of such prices that I can't catch a ban on YouTube. Meanwhile, our Rada gets more assistants. One girl named Ria came to replace Mira. By the way, this is Ria for girls and is in love with Mira, and another girl named Maria is a biologist who will help our hero. The whole group goes to the place where the first infected person appeared, but before that you need to look at the hot springs. Why? Well, then how will you see even more naked breasts? Well, don't ask stupid questions. Then the hero comes to talk to the wife of the first patient, but she flatly refuses to talk to the kid, although after a while the kid managed to melt the old lady's heart. All because he reminds her of her husband, who also loved only one girl. Besides, Grandma knew Alice, which also played into Wraith's hands. However, what did not play into his hands was the murder of an old woman. Well, more precisely, she was not killed, but sent into a coma. It becomes obvious that someone is preventing the heroes from finding out the truth. Wraith is sent to a disadvantaged area to distribute food to the girls there. There, an attempt is being made on him, but it is prevented by Ria, and in parallel with this, Kyoji falls in love with Wraith's sister, although he does not share his feelings at all and sends him far away at the first meeting. Well, that's enough of the plot, let's get back to the set. This time it falls to some Yaru to live with the boy. Well, I really don't know her name. And in general, the kid is still afraid of her, avoids her from the lesson. He's dating a girl named Suka, but this one also loves idols. It turns out that she was also bullied in the days before the virus. This post is about her. It's very exciting there. At night he returns to his room, and there Yaru is sitting. The girls start arguing about who will sleep with Seta, and the boy himself runs away. There he stumbles upon a sports Acera. Here the kid decides to play cool and orders the girl to show her breasts, which she does. Still, he touched her a little, and then gave her the back one. However, the girl was already wound up and the next day caught the boy and had a good time with him. Karen thought that it was enough to be petty and slipped the boy 3 girls at once at the same time. The person surprisingly took out such a challenge. In general, since then, I've been spending time with a new girl every night. Karen decided to raise the stakes again and brought Sita's former classmate to school. She was the star of the school and often watched the bullying of the kid and pretended as if everything was fine and that was how it should be. Cheyenne wanted to become an actress, but in this world, no one cares about actresses, but a connection with one of the surviving men can help a girl a lot. In short, she is ready for anything for the sake of her career. The kid understands this perfectly well. To begin with, he forces the girl to walk naked around the school. Then he calls her to the roof where he was once bullied. There, in the presence of 3 other girls, he deprives her of what he is. And from that moment on, there was little left of the former quiet, tight-lipped and harmless kid. Karen also adds fuel to the fire, which raises the stakes once again. This time she brought to school a girl who was in the company of bullies who bullied the kid. They also make a dog out of it for Sita, which, well, living a dog's life. Plus, this girl is hooked on illegal substances, which makes her situation even worse. After all, everything forces her to do all sorts of things for pills. In short, it's more and more like hentai. The kid generally breaks the tower and he begins to deal with everyone always and everywhere. He doesn't care about morals anymore, that's all your made-up stuff. Meanwhile, Rada is on the trail of the people who wanted to kill him. It turns out that it was organized by one of the heads of Japan. The hero is saved by Chloe Mansfield, the head of the peacekeeping mission of the world government. Sounds dumb, but this is the anime that you wanted. In general, Chloe takes the entire Japanese government into custody and takes their place, and the school where Seth studies is attacked by terrorists, including Ellis. They fail to kidnap him, but they take the 4th guy who hasn't woken up yet. Everything survives. As soon as he came to, he had a conversation with Karen. It turns out that the girl wants to rule the world, for this she needs Sita. The kid agrees to help her, especially since he just found out that there are 4 more living men in the world. And as we know, this Omeshka does not really know how to survive in purely male collectives. Alice immediately goes on the air and tells the whole world that the government is lying to them. Someone created a virus and released it into the world to destroy all men and concentrate power in the hands of women. As proof, they show a 4th living man, whom the government hid from people. In general, this manifesto was valid. Rada also meets the renewed Sita. With the help of the device, he was made up for 5 years, made more attractive and generally turned into a cool person, well, so that he did not look like a child against the background of GG. which he really is. This is Karen, of course, a cunning capets. Well, our Wraith as a whole does not care at all about the blonde, he still has to save the world. He takes his whole camp of girls, goes to Taiwan. Everyone except the world. Such a kana must remain for some reason. To be honest, I don't care anymore. This anime really got me, except that the conversation between Karen and Chloe remained from the plot. In general, the maid asks to appoint her the head of Japan. What the fuck? Well, ask the author, I do not know. In addition, everyone except Sita was forbidden to engage in girls, but this fool decided to take one of the girls kyoji. I don't know what it will lead to, but it's unlikely to lead to anything good. To summarize, this is an anime that has been stopped in Japan so far, so that a special commission could check it, whether it is too frank. No violations were detected, so this creation still reached us. His grades are not active, but God grant views. Many top titles have never had such ratings. Therefore, for everyone who says that the plot is important, here is an example for you when you don't care about the plot at all. Watch this anime or not, decide for yourself. And that's all, by the way. Take likes, subscriptions, comments, new videos from me and even more content on